Hello, hello, hello. This is Portland Stew here with Rose City Sorcery, covering the final round of our recent local draft event that took place at the FAB Foundry, FAB Foundry here in Portland, Oregon. In this game we've got Nate in the top playing Harbinger against Griff in the bottom playing Spellslinger. Both, common folks to see around our local scene. Great players, good friends of mine. And Nate's playing the Harbinger, which ability grants it 3 randomly selected portals that throughout the game, once per turn, the Harbinger may cast a minion to the locations of its portals for 1 less mana. So that's 1 reduced cost cast per turn. They kind of grants the Harbinger the ability to summon minions to additional spots on the board. We see it. I could hear Nate celebrating getting the high roll on that spot at location 3 on top of the Spellslinger avatar. That means the Harbinger will be able to cast minions directly to the Spellslingers to Griff's starting spot. Griff's playing the Spellslinger. I'm sure most folks know, but Spellslinger's sort of bonus ability as an avatar is that it starts with an extra spell card at the beginning of the game. So we see Nate take his second player Seer to look at and scry the top card of his library. Griff starts off with a Valley, and then Nate starts off with a Fertile Earth. Great site to hit in limited. Any of these double threshold sites just make it so much more reliable to be able to play your minions. You get 1 in your starting hand, and you can more easily mulligan for your other element because you know you'll have that 2 threshold. Then turn 2, Griff plays out a Broomstick Witch after dropping a Spire. He decides to play the Witch to the forward position so it can get aggressive, but also is still covering that home spot that Nate has access to through the Harbinger portal. Harbinger plays out a Stream to the side, sort of delaying connecting the realm, and there we go. First use of the Harbinger's ability, playing a Search Party, which he's able to play for 2 mana. It's a 3 power minion that usually costs 3, and it has 2 Earth thresholds, so already some payoff from that Fertile Earth. And then turn 3, Griff plays down a Valley, basic Earth site, and then drops Gift of the Wolf. Gift of the Wolf, I think, I actually say I'm the main person of this YouTube channel, and I had a long debate about what the best ordinary card in draft is for like a pack 1, pick 1, empty, before you know anything else about your deck, what you would pick highest of all the ordinaries, and I said Gift of the Wolf for me because it's just such an incredible card. Allows you to grant an ally +2 power and then draw a card. So we just saw Griff use it to great effect to be able to use his 2-drop to take out Nate's 3-drop, and it's card neutral. So, didn't without losing any cards. So that's a great play. But on the other hand, turn 3, Nate hits a second Stream. Really, this is the dream, is a Fertile Earth and 2 Streams. You've got all of your basic threshold requirements for, the common, ordinary, and exceptional minions in your elements, and then he manages to drop the 4 power for 4 cost at a discounted rate. plays the Monks of Kielbasa Sausage, the Monks of Kovalsa, a 4-power minion that can't be modified except by ward, which is an interesting ability. It's hard to say if it's more upside or more downside, really depends on your deck, but definitely a very powerful card. And there it is, Griff. Having a great answer. Draws a spell for turn, taps for a sight, and then plays out an Order of the White Wing. And it's a foil Order of the White Wing. That's a fun one to get in the draft. That's one of those foils that you know will be popular because it's a super playable card and constructed. Order of the White Wing, 3 power, 3 mana, 2 Earth Threshold. Comes into play with a ward and also prevents the summoning of minions to nearby locations if they are not cast from the hand. So effectively stops any summoning from the collection, any summoning from the cemetery, a lot of things, like you can't summon frogs off your Plague of Frogs next to an Order of the White Wing, so yeah. And bold move. So Nate decides to swing with the monk there. I'm curious to see what the plan is with that. Allows Griff the opportunity to do the double block, just lose a ward and a broomstick witch and clear out that monk. Oh, and there it is. That's an interesting cast. Nate, the Harbinger player, gets up to 4 mana and then is able to play the 5 cost at a reduced casting cost, the Frozen Horror. That's interesting. I wonder if it would have been slightly better to have attacked at Griff's backline site to keep everything closer to the Frozen Horror. So Frozen Horror is a 3-power minion at 5 cost that comes in with stealth, and at a time of your choosing, you can, as an activation cost, break stealth, and to disable other nearby minions until your next turn. And that's one of those rules that's confused a few folks I've talked to so far. Any ability that has that break stealth condition, that's a cost, not a trigger. So because it's got the arrow, what that means is you choose to break the stealth. So as a player, you can sort of burn your stealth token, lose stealth, and activate the ability. It's not something that happens like when you naturally lose stealth by, say, attacking or having stealth removed by some other effect. So yeah, here we see the downside to attacking back with the monks is now the Order of the White Wing is able to get out of range of that Frozen Horror. And then, Griff plays down a Crawler, also sort of out of range of the Frozen Horror, and now see Griff tapping to draw a sight and calling that a turn. For a minute he showed that he was considering playing a Noisome Twosome, a 2-power minion for 2 that has a death right to summon a 1/1 skeleton token. And I think this is probably a better play on his part. At this point, the Spellslinger player has the slight advantage on board position and is gonna sort of try and keep his minions out of range of the Frozen Horror's little trick where it could break stealth, disabling other minions, and then getting to sort of kill one for free. That's sort of the thought why maybe attacking with the monks on the back line would have kept the Order of the White Wing where it couldn't escape the Frozen Horror. But also now the back line is a little more exposed for the Harbinger player, so who knows, it might turn out to have been a the right call. So hard to say in situations like this. So yeah, Harbinger player playing out a Blessed Well. And oh my gosh, the best 6-drop in Limited. I said this in the commentary to the game I played against Nate, but Lord of Lies is such a powerful minion. We see Nate actually missing the opportunity to use the Lord of Lies ability. Lord of Lies has a 6-power minion for 6 cost, 2 water threshold. Oh man, that gets to force once per turn, force 2 units at a nearby location to fight. And so Nate, he wasn't able to play it there though because he needed the discount to play it. So if Nate could have played it on top of the order, he could have had it fight the order immediately upon playing it, but he needed to play back to his portal site, and so to be able to get it out when he wanted to. So now the Lord of Lies just ends up being removal bait for drawing out the Smite from Griff's Spellslinger, which banishes a nearby minion to an ally. So Spellslinger can have the Order of the White Wing, cast Smite, and banishes the Lord of Lies. And then, Griff attacked in for 6 total, but the first 3 was blocked by the ward on that site. So, yeah, Griff looking to be in a pretty good situation. I think he may have spent more mana than he had that turn. It's 4 mana to play the Smite and 2 mana for the Broomstick Witch. So, yeah, minor misplay there. I probably couldn't have actually afforded to play the Broomstick Witch unless I'm missing something. Meanwhile, last turn, Nate opted to attack in with the Frozen Horror, and now Nate's taking his turn, playing out a Withered Trunks, a nice 4-power for 4 cost minion that has to be cast where there is an enemy unit. So able to play that to the site with the 2/3 powers. Which actually works out pretty well in that Griff won't be able to clear it without sort of giving up 2 minions unless he's got the berry, which he does. Plays the Buried Alive. Wow. Griff having the answer to everything so far. Getting to swing in for another 6. 7, 8. And he decides to go all his swings on this one site. This is he knows the Lord of Lies is dead, I guess. His thought in a way that Nate's got a second Lord of Lies, but it's risky putting all your minions on a single site in general. There are things like Holy Nova in Earth that could hit them all, or the Instigator Imp, which could make 2 of them fight each other. So yeah, definitely a risky play, but just pushing the damage. I think Griff sees the finish line in range. He's trying to just get that Death's Door in as quick as possible, and also played out a Holy Knight on his turn. So got a 2-power blocker with a ward to that back spot where Nate is. And Nate played a Sarava Townsfolk on the previous turn, in addition to the Withered Trunks, which is a 2-power for 2 that becomes stealth if there's no other nearby units, so that ability didn't activate. And Nate is now able to play a Failed Mutation, which is a great minion, 4-power minion 2 water threshold, 4 mana cost that can't be targeted by enemies' magic or damaged by magic. So, by the enemy's magic. So yeah, a great body to have on the board, but is it going to be enough? Definitely a good piece to get right now, but there's, you know, one blocker is technically, if Griff doesn't get any other cards played out, Nate should be able to avoid Death's Door, but you know Griff's going to have a trick in there. You assume, though. Failed Mutation, a really good card for trying to avoid your opponent's removal. Just such a sticky minion. I wonder if we'll see Griff just decide to burn 2 of his minions to get it off the board. Meanwhile, Nate also used his discount on Griff's back row to drop the Muddy Pigs, and now we're back to Griff's turn. Muddy Pigs are a 2 power for 2 that has a death right to heal you for 3, so actually might come in handy for a game like this where Nate's starting to stabilize a little, and that little bit of healing could make a big difference. And we see Griff decides to move the Broomstick Witch, so I imagine there's a trick in store. You can cast minions with 2 power to anywhere in the realm thanks to that Spore Sprouts he just dropped out. And yeah, we hear them now. They're just sort of discussing. Nate's like, "Hey, that's my trick, playing minions to my opponent's sites." But Griff's got the Spore Sprouts, which comes in handy a lot in Limited. It's a card I didn't rate super highly early on. We'll see if Griff goes for just leaving his 2 3-power minions as blockers. You know, really, a classic sort of interaction here is that if Griff wants to kill the Failed Mutation, he could attack with both minions, but then he'll lose both. Whereas if he waits until the Failed Mutation attacks and double blocks, then he'll only lose one of the minions. The downside, of course, being that he risks giving Nate a chance to have an alternate play to sort of counteract that interaction. But generally speaking, you're going to get a much better exchange if you can double block with your minions as opposed to double attack with your minions, because then you split the damage up rather than having it dealt to having the full damage dealt to each minion. So yeah, Griff just drops out a Novice Necromancer, which should have summoned him a skeleton, I think. I don't see the skeleton token. Oh yeah, there, he's just recalled the missing Skelly. So yeah, Griff just played out 2 minions and moved the Broomstick Witch, which I'm still very intrigued by the Broomstick Witch moving decision. That seems like setting up for some sort of trick. So Nate's turn, he plays down a Tadpole Pool, does not activate the ability to get a frog, so he's got plans for that 6 mana. He attacks with the Muddy Pigs, which just get single blocked by the skeleton token, leaving them on the board. This may be that Griff doesn't want to trigger the Death Right because he's got a plan in store to try and door, which would make sense. Right now, I don't know, actually, I don't see, unless Nate leaves some pieces on the board. Okay. So now Nate goes for an attack off away from the Spellslinger's site with his Frozen Horror, and Griff double blocks with the Novice Necromancer and the Holy Knight, losing the ward on the Holy Knight and losing the Necromancer. from the board. Pretty good trade for Griff, and again, I wonder about the choice to attack backwards. Like it seems like Nate may be trying to draw Griff's units over closer to his side of the board, and I would generally, maybe part of it's about sort of luring Griff away so that he can pull off some sort of move. But yeah, here we see the double block with from Griff, and Nate, knew that was a possibility and made the calculated decision to go for it, getting to remove one of Griff's pieces. And there we see it, the undesirables. Allies can't enter this site. That's 5 power, but now Griff has guaranteed door potential, is the one thing after all that play. Actually, it looks like Nate could have afforded to get the frog token, maybe a minor oversight, because the undesirables usually 6 cost for this 5 power burrowing minion, but came in at a discount. But yeah, now we can see Griff has 4 attackers that can swing, and Nate only has a single blocker. So Griff is guaranteed to be able to get in the damage if he wants. But so Griff goes for the Gift of the Wolf. Griff choosing to prioritize board state over rushing to death's door, which is maybe a good choice. Griff's really a super strong player in our local scene, and so good at understanding the positions on the board. So he Gift of the Wolves is Holy Knight, gets to draw a card, hits undesirables for 4, and then swings up the undesirables for 1 more with his avatar, taking 5 damage to the face, but getting to clear that big threat. And then he comes in for 5 with the Broomstick Witch and the Crawler on the site that can't be defended, and then swings at the site where the Harbinger is with his Noisome Twosome, allows the Sarava townsfolk to defend, but that does mean that when his skeleton is generated, it's generated on top of the avatar, which is really ideal for trying to keep that potential for the death blow. Then Griff plays out a Ghoul forward. I wonder about playing the Ghoul forward. Oh, see, now this is, I think, Griff making a tactical decision that he doesn't want to let the Muddy Pigs have the opportunity to attack the Ghoul, because then the Harbinger player could sort of force some healing, and so he knows, or at least he feels confident that he'll be able to door the Harbinger first, and so he's playing his units forward, trying to avoid any potential healing and be able to sort of get the maximum number of bodies pressuring the avatar for the door. And yeah, here we have it. Nate gets to play out an Order of the White Oak or an Order of the Sacred Oak. It's a 3 power water minion that comes with ward and prevents your sites from being destroyed or modified, I think. And just destroyed. And yeah, swings in for 2 with the Muddy Pigs, but yeah, they're joking about, well, Griff's definitely gonna door this turn. The skeleton will come in handy too. I love having the skeleton for ward removal, but you can see the avatar is untapped to potentially protect the ward on that Order of the White Oak, or the Sacred Oak. And they're sort of discussing their decks a little, sort of already starting to debrief. Griff saying he got a lot of earth fatties, as he describes them. Yeah, Griff attacks with the ghoul forward to door and then just moves the broomstick witch into that more optimal position for follow-ups. Drops a ghoul defensively and then a penitent knight to a forward position. Now, what's he going to do with his crawler? He's considering moving the crawler forward, I think, which makes a lot of sense. Now Griff's talking about how he doesn't have any finishers in his deck. He's just got lots of good bodies. And he said, well, except for that smite, which I used. So we'll see if that's true. Definitely, I'm a little surprised he doesn't decide to move forward with the crawler. And I'm a little surprised that Nate doesn't attempt to move his avatar, but, you know. So Nate plays a Night Watchman, which should ward his sight, but not really relevant at this point if he doesn't have any spells that take advantage of wards. Griff isn't going to be attacking any sites. Yeah, so Griff moves forward with all the minions he can. And plays out Kisser of Wounds and a Penitent Knight. Moves the other Penitent Knight, which he played the previous turn, forward. So now he's got 5 attackers total that can get to the Harbinger's site, though if Harbinger moves, then there's only 2 that can get there. So yeah, Nate starts his turn, draws a card, and we'll see what he can pull off. He needs something miraculous to be able to get the door, and it does kind of look like he's running out of threats. So he uses a white oak. Oh, nice. And then he uses the swap to pull his Muddy Pigs back as defenders. So now he can eliminate the necessary number of potential attackers. Oh, but he doesn't do it? Huh, interesting. I'm surprised not to see Nate move his avatar where it couldn't be attacked. But Griff just starts trading in minions. Moves the witch forward. Steps up his guys. And he's got the Muddy Pig, or the Muddy Pigs are there, which he can't quite take out with the Skelly, so he's just leaving the Skelly untapped and around. Yeah. Nate decides to resign at that point, saying he can play the Wendigo, but Griff has too many attackers. I think Nate had the option to sort of start running his avatar away, but also makes some sense. You know, there's not, he's running, I don't know. If I was Nate, I probably would have tried to scrap for it, but definitely seemed like a lot of power on the board from Griff, and yeah, cool game. Some great positional play. Yeah, we see them. They're sort of noticing a lot of the things that they could have done that they didn't do as they disassemble the board. Nate being like, oh, I had this drowned here too. So yeah, very interesting game. I think Nate could have drawn it out a little longer, but it would have been really tough to ever get to the point where he was dealing the death's door. It seemed like he was on the back foot, just trying to stop the kill for a while there. And yeah, we saw Grip. We got a quick glimpse of Grip's deck, and I think I saw 2 zombie hordes in there as well, which didn't come out. So definitely still a lot of beef left that hadn't even hit the board yet for Grip. Yeah, so that puts Grip as our sole undefeated player after this draft tournament. A really great event. Just a big thank you to Kevin, our tournament director, and to FAB Foundry. FAB Foundry is a flesh and blood centric store, but they support our sorcery community and run sorcery events, and we really appreciate that. And it's, it's a great spot. Yeah, look at that. I think 2 Gift of the Wolves, 2 zombie hordes, a monks, 2 monks of Kilbasa, an undesirable, at least 2 penitent knights. I think it might be 3 penitent knights. Like, wow, that's a lot of beef in Grip's deck there, and that's what you want. The 4 and 5 power minions make such a big difference in Gothic Limited. So yeah, that concludes the early January FAB Foundry draft. For anyone who's in the Portland area, or maybe coming to the Portland area for like SCG Con or whatever, definitely check out Rose City Sorcery. There's a homepage. There's the PNW Sorcerer Discord is linked on there, and a great way to connect with the local community. We have such great people. Really fun event this was, and yeah, both of these players well-deserved seats at the champions table for this final match. And that's it from me, Portland Stew. Thanks for listening, and yeah, keep on contesting the realm.